Welcome back to Dadnarok. This is Sean,
And this is Chris.
and tonight we're talking about episode 3 of The Last Frontier, a show on Apple TV Plus, which I heard soon it's just going to be called Apple TV. They're taking the plus away.
Are they? I knew there was some things going on. I knew they were picking up like I think F1 racing or something down those lines as well. So I don't know some news, but I didn't pay attention to it too much.
Yeah, big change, big change.
Oh, no more plus. It's just Apple TV.
Yeah, that's it. We are Dadnarok. We come on here from time to time to talk about TV shows or movies or pop culture stuff or our family lives, our lives as dads here in the Midwest. And I'm in Kentucky, which is kind of the Midwest and the South.
yeah. I'm in Ohio. People would argue it's not the Midwest, but I say, shove it.
I don't know who those people are because Ohio is, to me, Ohio is as Midwest
I
gets.
think it's those Kansas people, but we're not going to talk about
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Anyway, hit that likes button, hit that subscribe button. We're live. If you're watching live, go ahead and comment. We are a better show with you guys. We'll pull it up. We'll kind of discuss what you guys got going on as well. And let's go ahead and light this fire.
What do you think about this episode?
It had me hooked just like the first one did. I would say not as much though. The B plot, I'm not feeling the B plot. The kids, I don't care about these naive kids. The action was heavy in this one here. The plot twist at the end, we'll get to. I didn't see coming. I don't know if you did or not. But I'm not even sure if we're done with that character. If we're not, they've got to sell that one hard to me. So we'll see where this goes from here. Because is this going to be one of those things that we're going to find out? Okay, he's one of many that are in this program. And just because he's now gone, they're going to substitute another one of his group in.
Oh, he survived. He survived that fall. He's going to be back.
You're probably not wrong, but that's going to be a hard sell for me. What do you think?
Yeah. This episode kind of lost me a little bit because we're steering away from the original premise of what I thought this show was. Because now it seems like, are there, besides the guy that's in the cabin with his son, are there any other convicts left? I thought this show was going to be about the story of catching like the quantity of all these convicts and like we like keep a tally of like, okay, who's who. We'd learn about the different characters, the different convicts these people are, how dangerous they are versus if they're just like people on their way home or like at the end of the prison. Like I thought we would get the story of the convicts.
No,
And
this
this
is
is a
more of an
story of some
espionage,
like
Jason
secret
Bourne
super
type
spy.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, which this is a different show than I thought it would be, and I think a different show than what it was sold as in the trailer.
Yeah. I'll
So
agree with that. Yeah.
I'm it's losing me a little bit. There were look, the action scene with like that big bus
The
thing
Chinook,
going over the
yeah.
cliff and like that whole thing with the helicopter and like that was wild. That was like stuff you'd see in a summer movie. That was very
Yeah.
cool. The rest of it though just feels like a big budget CBS show. Like
Oh
it's just
yeah, the secret in the basement. What's with the keys? The keys were in a cooler. There was nothing besides keys in the cooler.
and there's
Blood.
something about the keys, little disco ball. They keep focusing back on these keys and little disco ball
Mhm.
on the keys. He Havelock did something to the keys, some kind of GPS tracker or something. I don't know. They keep I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's very like they keep zooming in on the keys. It feels very like NCIS to me, and I don't watch CBS shows. You know what I mean? Like I'm not into
That's
that.
funny. Yeah, no, I agree with you. There was a lot, and what I wanted was more. I wanted answers before more questions,
Yeah.
and we got really no answers, but we have a lot more questions. It's like, okay, what led to the death of Frank and Sarah's daughter? Did that happen in Chicago? How does his name? Well, we know his name is Levi now. Havelock. Levi. How does he even know truly what that is? You know, what's with this? Why are they stuck up in this cabin now? Okay, yeah, there's a prisoner there, but yeah, if they're as smart as they thought they would be able to sleep out the back door. I mean, why are they trying to go out the front door in front of the guy? Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm not an NCIS guy,
Yeah.
so- but I do like the Jason Bourne movies. So I feel like it's still kind of teetering in that way,
Yeah.
but it's teetering. Like I don't even like I said, I don't know that it's going to be a hard sell to tell me that this character survived past this episode.
Havelock.
Yes, Havelock.
Right. Um, yeah, I'm hanging in there because I'm still fairly interested in the character of the marshal, our kind of our main guy, um, Jason Clarke's character. The relationship between Havelock and Schofield, I'm like, they have this big reveal that they're actually married, and I'm just like, I had just such a non-reaction, just like a, oh, okay,
Yeah,
like
I had the same one. Yeah, it wasn't a shocker. I was just kind of, oh, okay, now things are making a little more sense, but I mean, it still doesn't make sense.
right, because I don't know what anybody's intentions are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what Havelock's trying to do besides just cause chaos. Is that his character? I don't think so. He's not like the Joker. Like, he
Yeah,
has a goal, but who the hell knows what it is? I don't like that. I don't like as a viewer of a show, I like to be in on what's people's motivations are. And I don't like motivations to be a mystery until some reveal down the line where, oh, this is what he's been after the whole
yeah,
time. I think that can work sometimes, but like in a movie, right? When you're just with those characters for a couple hours, that kind of thing could work. But when you're in a TV show and each episode is an hour plus long, like that's too much. That's too much dragging out motivations for me.
yeah. Well, we know a little bit. He's trying to go ahead and shed light on this project that he's part of. But what is his motivation
Even then,
behind
I
that?
don't
Why?
know. Even then, I don't know if it's some kind of altruistic thing where he's doing that just to snub his nose at the CIA or just to like help other people that are out there, or if he's just being like like a revenge plot. Like, I don't know enough about him as a character to understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Let's just talk about him a little bit. So he's he gets caught up in the woods after trying to go ahead and pull Jack to that actual oil line, and he gets caught up by uh, Johnny Knoxville's character and a few others, as thinking that he's somebody just random. Then they figure out, you're the dude that was on the plane that was hooded and yada yada yada. And they're walking, they find this whole crew, this whole set of tourists in this massive vehicle, just out there looking for caribou and northern lights and all that, which looked like an amazing tour, by
I
the
know,
way.
I saw that and I was thinking in my head, I was like, is that a real thing? Like, can I go and do that? Because I would want to do this, something like that.
I would not be shocked if there is something down those lines, but I would also think and hope that they would be more prepared, seeing that they're in Alaska, for something to go completely sideways.
I just there were a couple points in this show where I was just scratching my head like, "What?" Like, it's just felt very, like, convenient plot-wise, you know what I mean? Like, they were literally looking from in binoculars, they saw this group of, convicts with their orange pants poking out of their
Mhm.
jackets, right? And they're carrying guns, and they're walking menacingly towards your vehicle. And you wait so damn long, you just kinda, like, look at them, and you're like, "Oh, everything's fine, everybody,
Oh, and
everything's
the door's
fine."
unlocked.
Yeah, "Oh, everything's fine, everything's good," and you keep watching them, and then finally you're like, "Oh, maybe we should start the vehicle," and then the guy jumps in the driver's seat, and he's like, "Huh?" And he tries to start the vehicle, and this
Yeah,
big multi-million dollar vehicle has the same, like, car engine starting as, like, a
yeah.
1980 Toyota or something. Oh,
Add a
like,
button to
okay.
push, and yeah, things like that. Like I said, also, why was the door unlocked? Why?
Right.
There's that. I would assume that it would be more than your normal Toyota windshield on this vehicle as well. That a shot went right through really easily. Uh, yeah, all of that just felt convenient, just to push the story along, just to get
Yeah,
them on there so they can have that big, you know, action scene
right.
later in the show.
Yeah.
So we have that going on. And then we find out a little bit we're just getting snippets between Havelock and Sydney. We're finding out that they went, they were, I'm not sure what city they were in anymore, but he did some type of, mission for her, and he winds up kissing her. He's like, this didn't happen. Her reaction. And it's like, you're just getting little things. We got little things in the first couple episodes. We got little things here until the reaction, the reveal at the end about them actually being married. Now, is it we were drunk and we were in Vegas and we got married and we didn't realize it? Is it we got married and we didn't want to let the Bureau know because we knew of the conflict of interest?
Right.
I mean, what is this marriage? And I think she's in on it. I don't think she's innocent here. I think they're properly investigating her for what's going on.
Well, the show doesn't portray her as innocent in this whole thing. I know there are times where it's like, well, the CIA is up against her and she's like the underdog, or they're trying to like tell us in dialogue that she's some underdog against the CIA. But like
Yeah.
the entire time there's distrust from Remnick, right? There's distrust from pretty much everybody around her who
Everyone
doesn't.
back at the CIA. No one believes her because she doesn't even come off as a believable character.
Right.
But then again, that's how they portrayed her at the beginning. When she came into Alaska, they were like, make him your buddy. Do whatever you need to do to make him believe that you're there to help him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she's portraying to us as the actual viewer. We're not seeing any other motives. We're not seeing a humanized side of her. It's almost like she's showing us the exact same thing that she's showing him. So we don't know what to believe in her either.
And even though they revealed more about her relationship with Havelock, like it could totally be one-sided too between the both of them. Like, it could be where, like, he's actually really into her, but she's just playing him like a secret agent, and vice versa. It could be that she's, like, way into him, but he's, like, kinda not as into her. Like, we don't know, and because well, 1, because these 2 characters haven't really shared a scene together besides just looking at through the window there, and dialogue that you can't trust, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody's a spy and everybody's lying all the time or downplaying things, or that's what makes a show like this. I don't know. I've never really watched like a long form spy series, like a Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
When you watch a Jason Bourne, even though there are like double agents and triple agents and like backstabbing and you're not quite sure who has what intention, at least it's within a 2-hour time frame and you can wrap it up and get it all figured out by the end of that time frame. But it's like once again, just like I can't keep guessing at what people are thinking and if what they're saying is true or not. And it just by the end of this third episode, I was really feeling it where it was like, yeah, I'm starting to not really care what anybody's intentions are. Or like, you know what I mean? It's honestly to the point where if I still feel the same way at the end of episode 4, I don't know if I can hang on. Is that the halfway point?
Yeah, that would be the halfway point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, then
we've
you
got
also have Jack too. It's like, okay, there's art, there's something else going on there too. So I'm not even sure if he's actually. I don't know if anybody in this show are truly good guys. I feel like he got away from something about his whole daughter's death, and he may be hiding from something, and that's something that now Havelock is leveraging with him.
you mean Frank, right?
Is it Frank?
Yes.
I kind of named. Oh, that's right. I named him wrong in our notes, didn't I? I named him
Yeah.
Jack in our notes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Frank.
I was like sitting here thinking like, wait, who's Jack?
But yeah, I don't even know if he's actually the only one innocent in the show. Maybe his wife and kid. Everyone else has their own motives going on, and yeah, I'm kind of right there. I need something. I need an answer. I need some type of give me something that makes me want to care more about what's going on. Because I cared more about that Marshall's death that just wanted to have a donut than I did about anything else that's happened so far in the show.
And that's wild, right? Like that's the opposite of what you want to achieve because the first thing that they did, they made you care about a character within the first 5 minutes and then do something drastic to him.
That is so successful too. If you
Yeah.
can do that that quick, that is so successful.
And then you
But
spend 3 hours with the main characters and by the end of these 3 hours I'm just like I don't really care what's going on.
are you getting tired of hearing, Frank whine to Sydney about this is my town, this is my situation, you're under my thumb essentially? I'm kind of getting to that point I was like,
I'm
okay,
done with that too.
she
Yeah,
gets it, but then she turns it around on him. Yeah, she's got the training that Havelock has
yeah.
because she trained him. It's her program. It was her dad's program, so she
That's
can
another
easily.
thing too. Last episode, wasn't, Jack, the Amanda Waller type, talking to a guy? I thought that guy was her father.
I didn't take that as a flashback. I took that as someone else within the Attorney General or
I didn't want
CIA.
that's what I'm saying. I didn't take it as a flashback. I took it as her meeting with somebody in Washington and talking to them, and he was talking to her, and I understood in that scene that that guy was Schofield's father. But then in this episode, she's saying, "Well, my father's dead." So I'm like, "Okay, well, wait, is that character not
Hold
her
on.
father from last episode?" Do you remember the scene I'm talking about
Yeah,
where
it's
Amanda
because they were sitting in front of the painting
Yeah,
or
they're
standing in front of.
sitting
Yeah,
on a bench in a museum, and
yeah.
he's specifically talking about, like, I guess trying to dissuade her from going after her so hard or something. Um, but I read that as he's
You
related
may
to
be
her.
right. I may be putting too much weight into what Sydney's saying because she's saying it to a character that she's trying to do anything and everything for him to get to trust her.
Right, is she lying? And that's the thing, it's just like, I shouldn't be confused as a viewer. Like, I should
Yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly, like,
No,
what's
that she
going
was
on.
lying. Yeah, I think you're onto that. I think she was lying because she's trying to bond over her death with her dad and his
Right,
death with his daughter, and
right.
she's
And
using that psychological situation.
and it could work that way, but, I you have to follow along super close with everything that's going on scene to scene, even with these like side characters that we kind of jump to here and there. So that was my first take too. That was yet another scene in this episode where I'm watching it and I'm like, huh? Wait, like this goes against my understanding of what's happening, but okay. And I just kind of keep watching.
Yeah, now you have me questioning it. Now I'm seeing it down the way that you seen it, and that
Hmm.
wasn't the original way I read it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's not being truthful completely with us. But then there was that scene. Well, let's talk about the scene we can watch here, uh, where the truck is actually hanging over the end,
Yeah.
and you got both Frank and Havelock in there fighting along, and she kind of rolls up and staring at him. But let's just go ahead and check that out real quick.
Country is F. This whole setup was like an action scene out of the Lost World.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Jurassic
Wait
Park
for a
sequel.
dinosaur to come grab him.
Yeah. Except it was Ian
But
Malcolm.
but again, this vehicle wouldn't have such thin glass.
I've got you crazy!
Right on cue.
Yeah, when she just leaps on top of that thing, my mom was like, "Oh, she's crazy."
Yeah.
Shoot him! Fucking shoot him!
She won't shoot, Frank.
Why not?
Shoot him!
She wants the truth.
Do you love me?
Yeah. That's stupid to me.
He's dead. And
So
the fact that he's not dead is
yeah, no,
sucks.
he's not going to be dead. And but like I said, that's going to be a hard. That whole scene, everything that led up to that, Sydney coming up, decoupling the actual truck, them
And
hooking up the actual the Chinook helicopter, and
yeah,
picking that thing up and dragging it, and all those prisoners just rolling out the back, and them getting picked up, and it
yeah.
just coming down to them basically on the edge there. That was top notch.
Or even just the lead up of Frank like arriving and like making his way onto the thing
Yeah,
and like Havelock talking to him and then them talking face to face for the first time. All of that was right. In fact, it started to feel like, oh, we're here already? Like this feels like the like end game stuff. Like this feels like it should happen in like the penultimate episode or
yeah,
something.
this happened way too quick.
Because I thought these two would be like, John McClane and Gruber, like where they talk over radios for most of the thing until they're finally face to face, and then it's like a big deal,
Yeah.
But no,
Kind of
it's just
anticlimactic here. Yeah.
yeah, episode 3.
Well, let's talk about the kid. That poor kid actually made it and was found by those ice fishermen
Yeah,
with wolves around him. Like he survived that.
yeah,
And that's one thing I loved. I love the fact when they got the kid back and we've seen Frank and we've seen the human side of Frank with the
right,
marshmallows and talking to him and then, kind of getting him more comfortable. And then when getting his dad out of that truck,
yeah,
that was to me, that was one of the highlights of the show this week. That
yeah.
just the interaction with Jack and the dad and Jack and the kid and reuniting the family. Because that's essentially what I believe that this town was. That's why he was there. Really, all this other stuff is he didn't sign up for, essentially. He thought he was getting away from it by coming here.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it would have been a much more, I don't know, much more interesting show, but it would have I would have been able to connect to the character of Frank Resnick a bit more if he was not, because right now the show's pointing us to believe that he has some secret past, right?
Mhm.
Havelock is pointing him out. He has this secret in his basement. Whatever happened in Chicago, we're starting to get the feeling that, like, oh, he's also kind of a secret agent that retired because he wanted to not do it because he had a family or something. Something happened, right?
Yeah.
I would be much more interested if, like, no, this is a local that's never left this town, and everybody's going to underestimate him because he's some is going to think he's just some dumb Alaskan yokel that doesn't know what's going
Mhm.
on, but really he is a badass because he is, like when Rocky 4, when Rocky was training in the wilderness, in the
Yeah.
tundra, in the mountain. You know what I mean? He's a
Yeah.
badass because he lives out here,
Yeah.
not
He
despite of
chose to
it.
live that situation,
Right, and
which would
he's a
make him,
badass,
yeah.
and he's smart because he's had to handle, like, things with all these people and all these in this frontier, and, like, he's gonna be underestimated and come through. I feel like that's a much more interesting story, that it's more grounded, that I can follow, that I can be like, "Oh, yeah, well, that's my dude," and watch him, like, show them how good he is, you know what I mean? And I would
Yeah.
have been behind something like that, as opposed to whatever this is where, like, "Oh, well, no, he's also kind of a secret agent," and, like,
He's got some type of shady past or
yeah, that's
something
not as
that he
interesting to
doesn't.
me.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. And that's why when I mentioned my concern about the show last week was how long can they run with this? Well, they're
Right.
already setting the undertones of moving on from Havelock with Jack's past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Frank's passed.
Frank, yeah, why I keep wanting to call him Jack?
You need
Frank's
to edit
past.
that document. Edit the document right
I'm
now.
not even looking at the damn thing anymore. I'm looking at it's just in my head. Um, yeah, I'm there with you. I mean, I did pick up my phone this time. I picked it up once, which is a big deal for me,
Yeah.
but it still had me watching. Like I was still there. Like I said, the B plot with the kids in the cabin.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Let's go.
I'm not Yeah, I'm the same with you. Like, that B plot, every now it's starting to be every time it comes back on screen, I'm just like, "Ugh." Especially because I was super confused. There was a moment where, like, the first scene we come back to, it's this sheriff guy or this deputy that finally made his way into the cabin, like, after,
Finally,
24 hours of trying to get into this place. He walks in, even though he saw them inside the cabin from a distance, and he gets there and he's like, "Hello, you here? Hello?" And the convict that wakes up does something to him, I guess chokes him out, kills him.
they don't even tell us. We're
They
assuming he's
don't.
dead.
And during that scene, when the convict is choking him out and struggling with the guy, the camera raises up, pans up, and shows Frank's son, I forget his name, Trent or something.
Tate.
It shows him, and he looks to be, like, looking down from the balcony onto the scene and, like, watching the convict do this, and yet when we get to the next scene, the 3 of them, the convict and the girlfriend and the kid are sharing some, like, hot chocolate together and, like, having a conversation.
Like
It
nothing
totally
happened.
just, like did I miss something? Like, was there a scene that I didn't see, or did I watch something that I did? How did you understand how all that took place?
I had no idea what he was looking at, and then all of a sudden it was done. It's like, yeah, like you said, the struggle took place.
Yeah.
That Marshall wasn't small, and this
No.
convict is tiny,
Right.
and yeah, like I said, that's another one of those they have to make you believe. But is he dead? Is he tied up? Is he? We all we know is he has his gun. That's all we know, really.
Right.
There's another question that they've given us without any answers. And then that girl, she got out. She walked all the way to the sheriff's car, so she knows there's a sheriff missing somewhere. Grabs the dossier of all these convicts.
Also, like, how long was she gone? Oh, I'm gonna go out and grab some more firewood. There's a stack of firewood on the porch of the house, right? She
Yeah,
was gonna be gone for like what,
and
30
it took the
seconds at
sheriff
most?
13 hours to get from his car to the cabin.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the sheriff just had to apparently walk from his car to this cabin, which took freaking forever, right? So
Hmm.
how long is she gone to not raise suspicion with this convict? Like, and she has time to not only walk all the way
Oh,
to this car.
and on top of that, I'm sorry to cut you off. She has the radio in the car. So she's there. She knows there's a convict in the cabin. She knows Tate's up at the cabin. She
Right.
has the car. The car was not dead. The car battery wasn't dead. He got stuck.
It's still running, yeah.
So the keys were probably still, I mean, maybe the keys weren't there. Maybe a little bit of a stretch, but the radio and everything would have been working. So I didn't even think of that at the time. Now that we're talking about, I'm like, yeah, that whole, I mean, that whole cabin can burn down with all of a minute. I don't care.
Ah, right. It's just like that B plot's just moving at a snail's pace, and it's throwing things up that are just unnecessarily confusing. And yeah, like I said, when it comes up, I'm just like, ugh, can we get back to it? I don't know, man. This episode, it had like a very shiny action scene in the middle of it that was cool and enjoyable to watch. And the rest of the episode for me, I was just like, okay,
Just
what?
not feeling it.
All right.
The more we
Yeah.
talk about it, because I watched it immediately on Friday night. I had some time to watch. I didn't know how much time I was going to have throughout the weekend because we were really busy. But I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I got the Friday evening. I'm just going to throw it on and watch it. And at first glance, I was like, I did not dislike that. I didn't like it as much as the first two.
Yeah.
But the more we're talking through, the more I'm like, oh, that makes no sense. Oh, that made no sense. Okay, now I'm seeing different holes. I mean, I guess time will tell. See exactly how it goes.
And the biggest sin for me is how far we're straying from the original premise of what
Mhm.
hooked me into wanting to see this show from the beginning. Just
What they
like,
sold it as and what it is.
yeah, because it's like it feels like Alaska is becoming less and less of a character through each episode, where that was like a very important thing as far as like resources and daylight and stuff in the first two episodes.
Mhm.
Barely really talked about or mentioned it in this one. And then just the finding of the convicts themselves seems to be disappearing as a plot point. And the plot, it's crazy because it feels like the plot moved and fast forward, like it moved crazy fast in this third episode. To where it's like, I don't know, this show could go anywhere if the episodes are going to continue to move at this kind of pace.
Oh, we didn't
Then
even
by the end
talk
of it,
about Sarah being found.
I know.
Why'd that happen already?
Right,
I
and why
figured
is
that.
she just like nothing happened? Like, no, I'm good. Just like all these
Yeah,
fake outs.
it's like I figured she was going to be like a part of either the final episode or the penultimate of finding her and keeping Frank. I was going to say Jack, but Frank on edge. Now it's going to be the kid,
Right.
and
Ugh.
yeah, I don't know. I really need to see an explanation on how he survives that fall. Because once again, that's going to put, like you were saying, though, when you're gripes, I think it's going to put Alaska back in the picture because now he's in
Yeah,
the wilderness by
right.
himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I think we ripped this one up a little bit here.
We did, but I feel like it kind of deserved it.
It's justifiable. If we like, I
Yeah.
mean, if you watched our first episode, I mean, I was right in season 2 at times. I was really like, that this happens and that happens, but this one here kind of stepped us back a little bit. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. you're watching live, let us know if we're wrong. Please.
Yeah, are we wrong? Please, you're the internet. Let us know we're wrong.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
give us
Internet loves letting us know when we're wrong, or anybody
yeah,
for that matter.
give us your opinion on the episode. Drop it in the comments, and Chris and I'll be. We respond all the time. We're petty like that. You know, we don't like let stuff slide. We'll argue with you in
Oh,
the
yeah,
comment
even if it's
section.
negative, I'll come back at you. I have fun with
Yeah,
it. It's almost a game.
maybe you
But
think this
I
is the
think
best show on earth.
I think at bare minimum, guys, we'll be back here this time next week
Yeah,
to cover next week's episode. At that point, I think a decision is going to need to be made because if you follow our channel, we don't like being overly negative about anything we watch. There's no reason to hate watch anything. I think we understand that as much as some other people may not.
and
And
a little
there's
behind the scenes stuff. You and I were going back and forth on whether we cover this or Welcome to Derry,
yeah.
that It show coming to HBO Max, and I'm going to be watching that regardless whether we talk about it or not on here. But I got to tell you, if episode 4 of The Last Frontier is a stinker, I'm, I'm like, well, here comes Pennywise.
we'll move on to that. So just a little bit of a heads up, guys. So if you're enjoying it, that's awesome. Give us feedback. Blow this video up. And if this video blows up, maybe we'll just decide. But
Yeah, if there's enough interaction, maybe we could just hate watch it for the rest of the season.
and we'll start writing our own plot while the other plot's going on.
Yeah.
But okay, man. I think it's enough on that there. Anything happened between you and the family this past week? Anything fun? Any drama classes or anything new?
Well, Friday night, her school held its annual fall festival where the entirety of the school from kindergarten through senior year is able to like come, and they set up like booths and games and raffles and prizes and food trucks, and like it's a big deal. Like they shut down a city street that's in front of the school just to
So it's
like
essentially a block party almost.
it's a block party, yeah, in like the middle of downtown. So it's a lot of fun. They play music, they have a stage up, they have like costume contests for the different like elementary school, middle school, high school. Um, and it was a lot of fun. We took a spooky ghost tour. It was just me and my daughter. Christina opted to stay out this time. She was like, "Yeah, you go enjoy." She had a nice quiet evening to herself at home.
Oh, you and
Um,
your daughter and me and Zach need to go to Waverly Hills.
oh, that would be. I don't know if she'd be able to do it, and I tell you why. Because she's been bugging me, right? She's going to be Jason Voorhees for Halloween.
Okay.
So she keeps like, she's like dipping her toe into like scary stuff, like the horror genre in
Zach
total,
just
right?
asked me about a movie, but I'll tell you in a second.
So Saturday night we were looking to watch something. I wanted to watch. Did you see trailers for that new movie called Good Boy, where it's about a dog that like protects its owners from like ghosts in a new house, and like it's all from the dog's vantage point?
No,
Anyway,
I
there's a new
haven't.
movie coming out called Good Boy that looks like good. All right, and you know how we love dogs in this house, but anyway. Um, it's not available on digital, so it's like, "Oh, man," I was kinda bummed because I thought it was available. So we start looking, and I asked Christine, I'm like, "Well, what's like a PG-13 horror movie that, like, might be alright for her to sit and watch?" Because we don't the thing with, like, the old slashers, like, I wish I could, like, pull up the TV edits of, like, Nightmare on Elm Street and, like,
Yeah.
Halloween, because that way, I don't have to, like, pay attention to, like, where the sex scenes are and where the tits are
hmm
coming out, you know what I
I
mean? Like
underestimated that. I think a year and a half ago. So with Zach, we watched Halloween. I'm like, oh no. Oh well. It's bound to happen anyway.
Right. Like, but anyway, so it was like, what's something a little bit tamer that we could watch? So we were going through a list. There was like, Killer Clowns from Outer Space and like all these fun or goofy ones versus the kind of spooky ones. We ended up settling on The Sixth Sense, right?
Oh,
Because like,
I've been thinking about that one for a while with Zach.
yeah. And I forgot how good that movie was. I haven't seen it in like years
I
and
have
years.
I don't know the last time I watched it.
It's so good, and it may be his best movie, M. Night Shyamalan. But anyway, we started watching it, and gets to the point where we start seeing the ghosts as Cole sees them, as Haley Joel Osment sees them. They get kind of scary looking and stuff. I think the second ghost is this boy that's dressed in like 1970s attire, and he's like walking through the hallway, and he turns to Cole, and he's like, "Hey, come back here! I know where my dad's gun is." And then he turns around to go back in the bedroom, and the back of his head's just like totally blown out, like a ghost that was playing
Yeah.
with his dad's gun, right? the moment that he turns, because I forgot that scene was coming, right? I just forgot.
Yeah.
The moment he turns and you see the gore coming out the back of the head, my daughter was just like, "Nope, I'm done. Turn it off. Turn it off." So it's just like we're treading this line where it's like she has this interest in horror stuff, but when it comes to push comes to shove and it's like presented in front of her, she's just like, "No." And I don't want her to have nightmares and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a weird balancing act.
So I seen Zach watching some it was a YouTube video. Kids shaky cam in the forest, just
Right.
kind of like at night doing. I don't know what they were doing. I was like, I got a horror movie I think you may enjoy, and it's not too bad. And this is how I sold it, just like it was sold to us. It is a real story.
Real.
And I'm
Blair Witch. You got to be
Blair
talking about Blair
Witch.
Witch. Yeah.
I'm selling him Blair Witch. And I'm like, you know what? And he even asked today earlier, can we watch a trailer for the movie you were talking about? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna hunt down the Blair Witch Project. I don't even know where I can find it to watch it.
Well, it's funny. It's cool. I think the trailer itself presents it as like a true story.
Yeah.
Like it even says it like this is found footage from these actual teenagers that went out there.
So there's no sex scenes in this. There's no true horror. It's all you build it up yourself. This
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing, I
yeah.
remember watching it. So I want to see how he reacts to that, and if he'll ever go camping with us again. So that's funny. That was something for a minute there. I thought that's where you were going. I was going to say,
Mm.
if you say Blair Witch, I am going to crap.
No, not yet, but that would have been a good one. I think that even came up. I think Christina maybe brought that up, but I don't know. We just landed on The Sixth Sense, but yeah,
Cabin in
that
the
may be a
Woods,
good one
maybe a
too.
freaky one. I don't know how much gore is in that one. I
Which
only
one?
seen that one once. Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's kind of that CG horror too, where stuff all looks all shiny and plasticky, where it's
Yeah.
not as bad.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going Blair Witch, and it's gonna be sometime soon. So there'll be an update on that one on the show, absolutely. But yeah, my weekend, we're big Zach's a soccer player, and there
Yeah.
was a huge soccer tournament that happens here in Ohio called the Haunted Classic. It's one of the top 3, 4 youth tournaments in the states, and they came out, won game one, tied game two against a team that was really good, and then they won game three. Now, game three was on a sketchy day. Friday and Saturday, beautiful weather. I mean, we couldn't have asked for better weather. Sunday, it was torrential from 7 o'clock till the 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening.
Oh no.
And they cut the games from an hour long to 30 minutes. So they weren't even playing a full game. And they had to come out and win by 3 and get a shutout to make the final.
Mm.
They did it. Zach had a clean sheet. They scored 3 goals. They beat the other team basically in a tiebreaker because they had the same record, but points wise, they were above them. And they went to the PKs because they decided weather was so bad. I mean, there was no lightning. They're so worried about the fields being tore up, even though they're going to shut them down for the winter here.
Yeah.
They went right to PKs. And this team that we were playing, they knew how to take PKs. And Zach has gotten really good at stopping them. But I mean, he went the right way 3 out of the 4 times, and these kids just blasted him.
Yeah.
And he had no chance. And our boys went out, took 2, got 2 stopped. And our boys don't really practice PKs either. So it's kind of like we want to get a team that practices them and us that don't practice them because it doesn't happen very often. So it's not a skill that is really highly needed yet.
Right.
So yeah, they came in second place. Zach was angry.
Yeah.
Like every time we've been in an actual competition, they've been finalists. He was happy to be a finalist. He was thrilled to win, which he's done
Yeah.
a few times. Almost 3 weeks ago, he won a tournament. Actually, well, he walked away with 2 first place medals. This one here, I think he was upset that he thought he let the team down because he was the keeper and he didn't make any saves. And 2, they didn't really get a realistic chance to win the medal. They didn't
Mm.
play the game. In soccer, it's played in the rain, it's played in the snow, it's not played in thunderstorms. Well,
Right.
it was just raining and windy.
Yeah.
We wanted at least a 30-minute game, and they weren't given that opportunity. He came home with that trophy, put it in the kitchen, got a shower, sat in the living room, didn't look at it until probably about 9 o'clock.
Mm.
And then I noticed he put it in his bedroom. I'm like, okay, he's kind of come to grips with it. He's understood that it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
The organization made a terrible decision on how to play things out because they didn't even have a contingency plan when the issue started first thing in the morning. Because my wife had to volunteer and be a field marshal, so she was there like at 7 o'clock that morning, and things fell apart. Like she was like, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't have officials on fields because of weather issues. They had
Yeah.
teams not showing up with no coaches. It was just a fiasco. And for this to happen, here, it was a lot of people find it unforgivable. And there's a lot of people saying that they may not come back. And I argue with that. For as many teams that don't come back, there's teams in line waiting to come to this tournament.
Right.
So they're not going to lose any money or the amount of teams
Where
they
was it
had.
held?
It was held in Beaver Creek. So there's
Okay.
the Beaver Creek BSA Beaver Creek Soccer Association, which they played it amongst 4 different fields to give you 4 different locations to give you an idea on how big this tournament is.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, a little bit of my gripe there, but you know what? I'm thrilled they played as well as they did.
Yeah.
They still were finalists. That means they were second in the group in a high division. So they played their butts off. So I was proud of them. But yep, I think the next thing we're going to do is scare the crap out of them, Blair Witch.
Well, everything's a learning experience, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even the crap stuff you learn from. And at
It's
least
all
he was
about
able to
mental.
come down and to kind of rethink. He was able to, after some time, like kind of recontextualize the experience and move on. Like Ted Lasso, right?
Yeah.
Big
Be a
goldfish.
goldfish. Yep.
Yeah.
My brother's girlfriend's daughter played in it, and they were so upset. Like I think I told you pre-show that they were throwing away the trophies right in front of the organizers. There was trash cans not far from it, and they were just pitching the trophies. They didn't want them
Whoa, dude.
because they would have won, but they lost in PKs.
Yeah.
So
For
there was
those
a
who
lot
don't
of
know, what's PKs?
penalty kicks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
So
so
that's all you do? You're not actually playing, you just take penalty kicks?
that's how the finals happened. There was no game played. It was penalty kicks. Put the ball in the spot, put the goalie in the net, kid takes a shot.
That's
First,
weird.
there was 5 shots, best of 5. If they were tied after 5, they'll go to 6 and continue until there was a winner. Yep.
Mm.
Nobody was happy. Even the winners felt like it was weird. But like I said, it is what it is. We're moving on. We have 4 more games by the end of the season, and he's also playing in the Olympic development program too. So he's got a lot on his plate.
So then you'll be done this season, and new season starts up November 15th or so?
Uh, no, he's gonna have a few. See, we have the first weekend of November is his last weekend of games.
Yeah.
Then he's got winter training starts maybe about a month after that. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, soccer's year round. People think, it's nonstop.
Even for kids.
Even for kids, yeah, definitely at this age, it's getting to the point where they're specializing. They're looking at where they're going to be doing beyond just. I mean, like I said, I never thought I'd be talking about Zach in the Olympic development program, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes as well.
Well, I guess you'll keep us updated.
Yeah. Oh, no, what? He didn't injure himself yet. That's the biggest part. We end every season with injury. We are uninjured
That's
right
always
now.
a plus.
Yes.
You want to hear that every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, that's a snippet of Dadnarok and family time and trying to scar our kids. Sean did it this week with Sixth Sense. I may have a scarring story for you next week with Blair Witch. If I can find out where I can actually get it digitally to watch.
Blair Witch is a good one because it's like it's either gonna like mess with them where it's like, oh no, this is way too scary, or he's gonna get to the ending and just be like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could go either way.
It's going to be either, and then it's going to, well, I think, and that's why I think, well, he asked earlier today while I was watching the football game, Dad, can I put on Ghost Hunters or Ghost something? One of the ones that are either on Sci-Fi or A&E or one of them.
Right.
I recognize the name. I'm like, nah, not right now. So he's teetering on that like spooky side. I'm
Oh,
like,
she does too. She watches, like, the paranormal, unexplained paranormal stuff that's on, like, History Channel and, like, so she's into that kinda stuff too. Yeah, she's dipping her toe, she's dabbling.
but scary movies and that stuff are two different categories. Scary movies are they're
Right.
trying to scare you.
She asked me, she was like, "Papa, are there any horror movies that don't have jump scares?" And I'm like, no, that's kinda like the whole point."
Yeah. Even
That's
the
like
ones that are more suspense scary are trying to get you. There's gonna be some, but
yeah.
their age, they probably won't see it coming. We know, we can sense when something's coming now.
They haven't learned that cinematic language, yeah, that we have over time, yeah.
When the music changes and things start looking out, we're like, okay, something's coming.
The camera focuses on one thing where you know it's gonna come from this other angle, like, yeah,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
that's fun. We're in that time of the year where it's good. Both of our kids are getting older
I
to
know.
where we can mess with them. So we got. I mean, if a good parent scars them during Halloween, come on.
That's the thing, it's just like she nudges me, and she's like nudges me and, like, dares me to, like, she keeps, like, pushing the limits, and then I'm like, "Okay," and then I, like, go with her, and then I, like, do something, and then immediately it's just like, "Oh, I've crossed the line, I've gone too far," and she's just like, "Why did you do?"
How about Amityville?
Oh god, I don't know.
The
That's kinda
original
scary
Amityville?
too.
And
I
that
mean, there's
is, but
the
there's no real gore in it. There's
right,
the bees with the priest in the room and they get out, and then the basement and the dog. Dad
right.
kinda going nuts, but there's no real it's the windows, you know, glowing. That's another one that's
Like spooky ghost stories, basically, ghost horror
yeah.
movies versus slashers
I
or,
was thinking maybe
yeah.
Annabelle. I
I haven't even seen the Annabelle movies.
I think I may have seen it once, so
Yeah.
or how about like, Megan, the original Megan?
She started to watch the second one. She hadn't seen the first one, but she started watching the second one with my mom, and she was so bored. I guess I don't know if there was just, like, they changed the way it is so much that it wasn't even a horror movie anymore, and she was just like she hated it.
She tapped out.
Yeah, she tapped out. That she wasn't scared, she was just bored.
That's never a good sign.
No, she was checking her phone.
I think what we need to do is come up just checking her phone, that's great. We need to come up with a list of, like, scary, not gory. So, I think if you look back, I think, like, the 90s and the 80s and 90s time frame, there was both sets. There
Yeah,
was the Freddy Kruegers, but then there was also other ones that weren't really
family-friendly
super
horror movies, yeah.
it's
Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
show her
weird.
Gremlins. I'm gonna show her Gremlins and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, she hasn't seen Gremlins yet?
No, she hasn't seen Gremlins.
Oh, that we showed Zach that a couple years back, and, there
Yeah,
was, a pivot scene at the end, uh, where they're talking about Santa. I'm like,
you're
"Oh,
right.
shit. Oh, shit." And I had to think on my toes so fast. It's like, "You know how the gremlins aren't real? It's the exact same thing right there. This is just a movie. Nothing this is."
Well, I mean, she's past that stage now, so I wouldn't have to worry about it, I guess. She would maybe find
Yeah.
that scene funny.
Okay, guys. I think that's all we got for this week. But if you like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make this thing go crazy. And I guess we will see you again this time next week.
That's right, and, if we like episode 4, we'll keep talking about it, or if we hate episode 4, but you guys make us watch, more episodes, then we'll do that too, and we'll just
Or you'll see a red balloon behind me, one or the other. Take it easy, guys. See you next week.
yeah.